I would like to welcome our next speaker, who's Fenney, Vice President of Rubicon. I'm really glad to have you here. I think you are one of the most experienced in the industry, in Europe at least. I don't know outside.
Fantastic.
Really glad to have you here. I will switch into your presentation. Maybe you can start to present yourself a bit.
Hi guys, my name's Fenney, Vice President Salad Cloud at Rubicon Project for International. Firstly, need to apologise. I've been up since 3 a.m. with a decent case of jet lag. I've just got back from Australia, so apologies for that. And my Swedish is only marginally better than my Danish, so I'll stick with English. I've been asked to come here today to talk about the growth and the trends that we've seen in programmatic over the last 4 years. And for those of you who don't know Rubicon Project, I know there's about 185 companies in the room today from both the buy and the sell side. I think it's actually remarkable that there's so many people in Sweden that are actually interested in programmatic. I don't think we'll get this many people out of bed so early in the morning in England, that's for sure. But Rubicon Project is a company with the mission to automate the buying and selling of advertising. Here in the Nordic markets, we're actually represented by a company called Netric Sales. Daniel and the guys are here out the front today, so make sure you do have a chat with them. So I want to start off by having a look at how the last 4 years has evolved with programmatic. On the screen now, you have your traditional purchase funnel from your awareness right down to the conversion. And on the right-hand side, you have the traditional way publishers have sold inventory to buyers or segmented their inventory to make it available to buyers. Your big brand awareness campaigns have traditionally been sold by the direct sales team at the publisher. It's been sold on a guaranteed basis. And then anything that's been unsold has been made available for those lower funnel activities such as the performance campaign, so your CPC, your CPA, retargeting, etc. Now, real-time bidding really became a viable technology in 2010. It got to a stage where technology and the costs and the speeds of the connections made it viable to transact in real time. And what we saw initially was kind of the displacement of ad network-based buying into real-time bidding. And that's really what we've seen over the last 4 years, the growth of real-time bidding in that non-guaranteed segment. And then, I guess, 2 years forward, 2012, publishers started to realise that they could do more and make their inventory more valuable for buyers in the real-time bidding space. And what we saw was the launch of private marketplaces. So publishers were overlaying first-party data, be it demographic data, purchase intent data, and making that available to buyers in a kind of a private marketplace scenario. Those transactions obviously have a higher value than the open marketplace activity and kind of slotted in between your non-guaranteed open RTB marketplace and your direct sales. And where is it going next? We're moving into automated guaranteed. I'm going to talk about this in a bit more detail in a moment, but eMarketer forecasts that this is an $8.5 billion opportunity globally by 2016, so it's very exciting times. But let's take a look back and talk about why automation. Your predecessors, for the media buyers in the room, had a very easy time in the 60s to access a family of 5 or 4. There was one ad slot 4 times an hour on the TV, one device, planned months in advance, very, very easy. Today we don't have that luxury. The fragmentation of devices, of audiences, their attention, it's a lot more difficult to engage with your audiences today. For that same family of 5, there's 5 different ads that have been exposed to hundreds of brands on a daily basis. They're using multiple devices, and ads are actually individually targeted and delivered in real time. So we're unable to do that with the old method, so we need technology and automation to help. People often think that we're trying to reinvent the wheel with automating advertising, but the case is we've seen automation affect industries for many centuries now. Most recently, the finance, travel and retail industries. And what we typically see when industries start through this evolution of automation is that it's typically the low-value inventory that moves into the automation space, and it slowly moves up market. So take NASDAQ, for instance. When they launched in the late 80s, they were a platform for trading the low-value stocks in the market, the penny stocks. And over time, the value of the inventory available on the NASDAQ is increased, and today you can actually buy shares in the most valuable company in the world, Apple. Similarly, in the travel industry, Sabre Systems was born out of American Airlines, I believe in the 70s, to help them fill unsold aeroplane seats. Sound familiar? And over time, that company, along with others that in the market, essentially have built technology that facilitate the buying and selling of literally every aeroplane seat globally, every hotel room, every car hire. And in the retail area, we have eBay launching in the late 90s. Initially, it was the crap that you didn't really want. You sold it on there, and people went and bought your crap if you were lucky. And over time, we've moved up market, and today, one car is sold on eBay Motors every minute. So this is exactly what's happening in the advertising industry today. 2010, we saw the really first steps of moving towards automation. The low-value remnant inventory was made available, and real-time bidding was the protocol that powered that. And now we're in an evolution phase, moving up stack. So private marketplaces is the next step, moving up the value of inventory, and the next step is kind of monetizing all of that inventory in an automated guaranteed space. So think about this. What if you could make advertising as easy to buy as booking a flight or buying stock? It's a good point. None of us would put up with the kind of the manual processes that we have in advertising when trying to buy a flight or buying stock. Another fact for you. Last month, the spreadsheet turned 35 years old. We actually use 35-year-old technology to power the majority of our industry, which is quite remarkable. We're all familiar with the excessive number of steps it takes to actually execute on a campaign. There's something like 40 steps, 15 different people getting their hands in there, thousands of hours work, and massive overheads. And we've become, as humans, very, very good at these kind of mundane tasks. But the reality is, impressions are bought and sold in 80 milliseconds today. We can't still be using spreadsheets to buy them. So we're moving to a world where advertising is powered by science and scale. As media buyers globally, you have the challenge of reaching 2.6 billion internet users. A bit easier here in Sweden with just the 10 million, but that's still a decent number to be able to chase. On absolutely billions, hundreds of millions, billions of devices, millions of websites, trillions of impressions, and it all needs to be done in 80 milliseconds, and that's where automation is happening. So let's take a look back at the rise of real-time bidding. So I assume most of you are familiar with the benefits of real-time bidding. For sellers, it's instant access to millions of dollars spent from thousands of advertisers, algorithmic pricing of inventory, increased transparency into who's actually buying your inventory, and reduced cost of sales. On the buy side, the benefits: enhanced targeting of audiences, improved reach, global frequency capping, increased control of delivery, improved performance, and reduced wastage, I should say. And those benefits have really led to the growth of real-time bidding in many markets, and especially in Sweden. About $115 million is going to be transacted through real-time bidding this year, and that's going to increase to $300 million by 2018, representing more than a third of the spend in the market. So really, really remarkable stats. On the Rubicon platform, we also see this same trend. So this is actual data from the platform looking at RTB spend in Sweden over the last 3-ish years. And we've seen that massive growth. And even in just the last 2 to 3 months, absolutely huge growth, which has been driven by a lot more advertisers starting to shift budgets into the programmatic space. There's now more than 2,000 advertisers that spend significant amounts of money on real-time bidding in the Swedish market, and they're spending more money as well. I think the stat I pulled out was the top 50 advertisers in October this year spent 3.5 times more what they did in October 2012. So there's just a lot more money in the space. And we're starting to see a lot more buyers in the space, whether that be agency trading desks, agencies, advertisers direct. There's a lot more buyers getting involved, and obviously with the amount of people in here, a lot more people that are kind of executing on these buys through real-time bidding. But what about private marketplace deals in Sweden? 2014, the year of private marketplaces in Sweden, I think. We've started to see some activity, which is fantastic. I think I was over here in 2012. That's the wrong word, trying to get people to start using our private marketplaces platform. It's taken a while, but now we've started to see some traction. So much so that in the last 3 months, I think approximately 15% of the spend on our platform through real-time bidding has been from private marketplaces. So massive growth. That compares to about 20% in the UK market, and is actually probably higher than what we see in the US market, which kind of lags behind on the private marketplaces concept. So who's actually doing private marketplaces? I can't actually tell you that, obviously. But here's an anonymized chart of the top 10 buyers in the Swedish market, and the red color there indicates the percentage of their spend that is going towards private marketplace deals. So there's obviously a couple of guys that are starting to dip their toe in the water a bit. Some people are spending upwards of 30% of their spend in private marketplaces. We've got buyers that are spending 100% of their spend in private marketplace scenarios. Others are yet to do anything. So there's still differing strategies in the market, and we expect that this will continue to grow. And based on the stats that my Swedish translator was giving me before, it sounds like private marketplaces are going to be a big thing moving forward. So how does it work today? It's actually very straightforward. Publishers create packages. It could be packages with inventory with audience overlaid. It could be high impact formats. It could be inventory that's not typically made available in the real-time bidding environment. They make those packages, they push them into private marketplace platforms such as Rubicon's orders platform. Buyers are able to go into those platforms and negotiate access to those packages directly with the buyers. And Deal ID is the mechanism that powers these transactions over the real-time bidding protocol. Now, Deal ID has been getting a bad rap over the last 3 months or so. The reality is Deal ID actually does work. It's just taken a while to get the DSPs to actually build out to that element of the RTB protocol. The challenge will be, is, and will continue to be the fact that we're still talking about non-guaranteed inventory. We're still in the real-time bidding environment, and that's where I think a lot of people sometimes are underwhelmed in terms of the delivery, because inventory is not guaranteed. So it really comes back to your initial conversations between the buyer and seller around what you're actually negotiating on. So the opportunities for buyers are fantastic within the private marketplace environment. Publishers are making more premium inventory available, inventory that wasn't previously available in the real-time bidding environment. Performance should increase. There's more unique users available. There's higher user session impressions. High impact formats. We typically see that the larger formats are transacted in private marketplaces only, and I've got some stats on that in a moment. You have the ability to negotiate exclusive access for certain segments or audience segments, whatever the case may be. The systems are very easy to use. They're not difficult, and people are able to learn these very quickly. And quite often there's more transparency in a private marketplace environment as well. So I think this is a European stat. What we typically see on the platform is CPMs for the IAB Rising Stars, the larger formats, are on average 3 times higher than that of the standard formats. And a stat from the UK, in the last 12 months, we've seen an 8x increase in the the amount of revenue that's transacted via deals for IAB Rising Stars. So let's have a look at what's next. Automated guaranteed. The guaranteed market is the biggest market within our industry. Something around more than $30 billion will be transacted next year in this space, and it's largely underserved by technology. The majority of the technology has been focusing on the performance end, where the opportunity there is obviously much smaller. Omnicom CEO John Wren last year made a big statement saying that he believes that pretty much all media will eventually be transacted via machines, and that's what we're starting to see. Big brands are making pushes towards programmatic. American Express, we've seen over the last 12 months, has pushed a lot of spend into the programmatic space. Procter & Gamble looking to spend 70% of their budgets programmatically. And we're starting to see this filter through to our platform as well. Apologies that I can't share the brand with you here, I just don't have permission. But this was a guaranteed buy in the French market on The Guardian and the BBC in France. So this is actually happening today. We're starting to see publishers and buyers actually executing on automated guaranteed delivery. So why automated guaranteed? We recently conducted a survey with Digiday to get a better understanding of the inefficiencies that buyers are facing in the market. More than half surveyed said they spend at least 20% of their time performing manual processes. The majority of buyers are using multiple systems, which is creating kind of mass inefficiencies. Plenty of systems, very fragmented for them to be able to execute on their buys. And respondents don't believe that there's actually a solution in the market yet for automated guaranteed, but 90% of respondents believe there's a need for this. So many of you would have heard on Monday, Rubicon Project announced the acquisition of iSocket and Shiny Ads, two of the leading players in the programmatic guaranteed space in the US. The US, one is actually Canadian technology. I shouldn't offend those guys. This is where we at Rubicon Project believe the industry is going. Real-time bidding is going to continue to grow. Private marketplaces are going to continue to grow. They're not going to supersede each other, and automated guaranteed is going to start making a big splash in the market as well. And they're all going to work side by side for different types of campaigns. If you have any questions, I'll be around for the rest of the day. The Netric guys are going to be here as well. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you.